And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. And boy, we're kicking off April with a great panel and also a great author as well. We have joining us once again our friend Yona, who brings us some amazing guests here on the Amazon Live platform. But we have a first timer joining us today as an author. We have Rene Rawls joining us. We're going to be talking about her new book, Sule, and let you guys know how to be able to get it for yourself. Yona, Rene, hello to you. Welcome to the back to the program.
Hi
Hi.
there.
Great. Well, I say welcome back to you, Yona. We're going to kick things off with you. I actually met Renee because of you. So we were just talking. I know it's already been a busy year for you, Yona, but what has it been like for you, Yona, as you've been able to do the work that you do, to be able to introduce or to reintroduce the world to some great author and books?
Honestly, it's, with River Child Media, it's been amazing. It's really been a wonderful opportunity to work with books I'm passionate about. The ones that my eyes light up, and everybody who knows me and who knows how much I love, what I do, they always know when I've got something special, when I get like this and I start, speaking and I get very demonstrative and, my face lights up. And that's one of the reactions I had when I came across Renee. Renee, came to me just as, through a discovery call, just trying to find out what my services were and things like that. And at the time, I wasn't really sure if I would have time to take her on, as a client. And she started telling me about the book, and she started telling me about her professional career as an academic, as a teacher. And I also have a teaching, background. So of course, that immediately caught my attention. And then she showed me her book. Show the cover. Um, I mean, I saw this cover and she showed, and it literally stopped me in my tracks.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I immediately was like, okay, wait a minute. So she, started telling me about the book and how it was really important for her, to teach these African proverbs. I mean, this is something that's rooted, in our culture. There's so many things to learn and to make it accessible for young people. And she sent me the book. I flipped through the pages. It was so beautifully done. Everything from the illustrations to the pages and the layout. It was just so beautifully done. I could tell that she took a lot of care in doing it, in creating it, not just with the story, which is solid and very interactive, and the little ones will love it,
Yeah.
but just in the appearance of it. It's so beautifully done. And we started talking about different things that that she wanted to do. And I started thinking about the people that I know and the contacts that are in my circle. And I said, what, I have so many educators, just among my sorors. As you know, I'm a Zeta, and so many are teachers. And I said, what, this is what we could do. We could really start going out to these schools, because there's International Book Day, coming up, World Book Day, which is tomorrow. World Children's Book Day, I think, is tomorrow, and then International Book Day is on the 22nd to the 23rd of April. So I figured, let me go out and see if we could do, some virtual book events. She's very dynamic. She's a teacher, so she gets it, and that's what we're doing right now. And I'm really excited to see Sule and her fly and just become a must-have in children's libraries, in classrooms, and their own individual libraries. So that is my goal with this book and with Renee.
Yeah, yeah, so many great themes, right, Yona? And I was
Hmm.
thinking about, I didn't think about it at the time when we booked this conversation, but April is also Global Volunteerism Month. And the book also has that
Oh,
idea of
oh
being able to
yes.
give and collaborating and coming together. And so it's such a great thing. So, Renee, we've been talking about you like you're not even here. So I'm going to go ahead and
No,
bring you into the conversation.
I'm
Yona,
just
we're going to
taking it
bring
all
you in
in.
here in a bit. Yona, appreciate that. So, Renee, again, welcome to the broadcast. I
Thank
want to say
you.
for those tuning in on the Amazon Live side, you'll notice that Renee's book is down below in the carousel. If you're watching us on your desktop or laptop, if you're on your phone, it could be over here on the side. So feel free to be able to click on it, be able to get your own copy. I got mine here from Amazon as well. Definitely invite you guys to be able to do that. We're going to also remind you how to stay connected with Renee at the end of the broadcast as well. So, Renee, what was it like for you? I mean, Yona was just talking about the book and what she thought just by seeing the cover. What was it
Mm.
like for you to be able to hear the feedback from Sule?
Heartwarming, to put it in one word. It was just amazing. Basically, what happened, it went out via, I think, a group Facebook first. And my friends started tagging it, and then once they started getting it, they started sending me pictures of their children reading it,
Mm,
and the words that kept coming back, I love it, I love it, they love it, they love it. So when I see that, it's like that was my goal, for it to really reach the kids and for them to connect with it, for them to enjoy it, and for them to love it. And so it's like, yay, mission accomplished.
love that. Well, Yona was
Yeah.
telling us that you're an educator, of course, a teacher at heart. But was
Yes.
storytelling something, Renee, that you always knew you wanted to do?
Yes and no. So basically, what happened was I went to graduate school, and when I was in graduate school, I was going to be a director. And so I told my professor, and she was like, need you to rethink that. She was like, with a director, you have to have 5 or 6 people. With writing, it's just you, and I need you to graduate. So I actually wrote my very first screenplay. And that is really what started me on that journey. And
Mm,
so, of writing. So that's how it came about.
yeah. And now here you are with Sule, and I should say again, the proverb detective
Yeah.
is the full title there. And I love the fact. Well, there's a lot to love about the book. Yona mentioned two things that struck me when she was first telling me. I was excited about it, Renee, before I even read it because
Oh,
she was the
wow.
way she was talking about it. But when I actually went to Amazon, got it for myself, and was reading it, what I love is for one the family element, but I also
Yes.
love the discovery element of being able to look and to explore. So I want to ask you about that. What
Okay.
comes out the most when it comes to being excited about the world and looking at the world and trying to pick things up? Is it the teacher side of you or the explorer of you?
I would say probably a combination of both.
Gotcha.
So the teaching side of me, I know there's a lesson coming at
Yeah.
the end. When I was writing, I said, oh, yeah. And so the discovery part, for the kids, absolutely. They may not know where it's going, or readers probably don't know where it's going. But as they're reading and it's unfolding and they're taking page after page, and it's like, where's this going? Where would this land? Where will this end? So it was a combination of both that just had me really, really excited. And just to back it up a little bit,
Hmm.
I actually, to get this going, I did a Kickstarter campaign.
Mm.
And my goal was to make sure that I created a book that everyone could love, that people would look at it and were like, this, I'm drawn in by it. And so I made sure that I surrounded myself with experts in the field, should I say. And so I pulled on a great story editor who really helped me tap into that story as it is unfolding. She helped me tap into that. And I'm just so grateful and appreciative of that.
You mentioned that's a great segue here, Renee. I want because one thing people will notice is as you're going throughout the book, you're enjoying the story, but there are. It kind of reminds me, Renee. Remember highlights? You would,
Yeah.
as a teacher, you would, I
Yeah.
always love the fact of being able to find the little things. What's wrong with this picture? What can you find in this one? So, talk to us about the marriage between the story, but also getting the engagement and interaction with the illustration. What was that like for you to kind of marry the two together about letting them be able to be a part of the story by finding the things that you were asking them about?
Yeah, because in my head, I just like, I want the kids to feel like they're detectives as well.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. That was, I think, the driving force. And so I connected with my illustrator, and just to back it up a little bit more,
Okay.
I have Sule is a short film. It's an animated short film, and that particular story deals with the proverb, great fires erupt from tiny sparks. And the person who created the characters for that short film, she also did the characters for Sule the book. And
Oh, wow.
so, yes, so we collaborated again, collaboration.
Hmm.
We collaborated again on this particular project. And I just would go to her and say, hey, this is what I'm looking to do. As well as the story editor that I brought on board, I
Hmm.
just want to make sure that the kids are able to, like I said, become detectives
Yeah.
and look and become engaged, and not just reading, 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 but being able to fully get into the story themselves.
Yeah. Let's pull on that thread a little bit more, Renee,
Okay.
as a great tie-in to to Sule's journey, because I think the other thing that this book encourages, and unfortunately we've gotten to a place in the world, and I think you would agree, that we don't encourage people to explore, right? We don't
Right.
encourage them to think about what they can do, especially young people. Do you hope this book also reminds young people that they're never too young to explore, that there's always things they can do even where they are?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that ties back to just taking a moment to stop and breathe and notice, seeing what's around you. And even if it's something as simple or small as a flower, just watching it, observe, see what it's like. Just taking that moment to observe life, and observe the things around you. So absolutely, just try to make that a part of daily life, discovering something every single day, no matter how big or small.
It's a great message, I think, for all of us. I want to ask you about that message for us adults as well, Renee. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, you're watching Cyrus Webb Presents. I see you guys over there on the YouTube channel. I'm not ignoring you guys. I didn't want to interrupt Renee. I was going to give you guys a shout out. I appreciate you guys tuning in on LinkedIn as well. I see you guys. Rene Rawls is our guest today. We're talking to Renee about her storytelling journey, but also about the book you guys see there, Sule, the Proverb Detective. I got mine through Amazon. If you guys are joining us on the Amazon Live side, you will notice the book is down below on the side. D. Hamilton says, so true, talking about what we were discussing about discovery. Appreciate you joining us over there, D. Hamilton, on the Amazon Live side. I want to talk about for yourself, Renee, because there are people who, it's interesting and it's funny to me. I was fortunate to have people in my life growing up who always encouraged me to be bigger. I didn't always believe I could be bigger, but they encouraged me to dream big and to do big things. When kids are young, it seems natural to think you can be a firefighter, Superman, and then be able to have a family. That seems natural. As we get older, those dreams are poured water on, right? You're like, oh, no, what makes you think you can do that? You're not going to be able to do that. You have to do this. You have to go this route. What has kept you believing as an adult? What is it that has kept you not giving up on dreams?
Well, first, let me say it's been, I don't want anybody, I have to first say it's been tough. I don't want to even put it out there like what I'm getting ready to say is easy, but I can give a few steps that helped.
Okay.
One's my faith. I just have always believed like this is going to happen. Like some stuff I say is non-negotiable. And that's it. I put a period at the end of the sentence, not a comma or an exclamation point, not a question mark. This is it. I have my family. Very supportive. When I say it's been tough, we're talking just being like open and honest, even financially, but the support of family, they have been there to make sure I'm able to pursue my dream. And then friends. I just can't speak to that extended family where they have been there for me as well. I tell each other that's what we do. You get that rejection letter, you let people know. They say it's okay. Guess what? Send out 5 or 6 more letters, and someone is going to say yes. So I think it's faith, your family, and your friends. And if you don't have all 3, get at least one.
Yeah.
And I tell people also, we're all storytellers and we're always telling ourselves stories. So think about that chatter in the head. Get a story and make it a good one. Don't tell yourself a bad story. Tell yourself a good story. So if you get that note that says no, what's the story that I can create? Flip that. Oh, you know what? They said no because there's something better coming along. Oh yeah, guess what? Better is going to be like $1 million. Hey, good story,
Right.
So that's the way I look at that. So hopefully that'll help someone. Tell yourselves a good story today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I talk about faith, family, and friends all the time with myself because I think you're right. If it wasn't for those, you would feel like you couldn't do or what is not possible. So let me ask you this in connection, and thank you so much for sharing that personal expression. Does that make the response to Sule? Does it make it even sweeter?
Oh, yes. Yes. It just warms my heart. It really, really, really does. Again, when I got those pictures of the kids looking at the book, just engaged. Like friends said, Renee, look here. He loves it. She loves it. It just, oh, it's indescribable. Just thinking about it just makes me smile, and it makes all of those sleepless nights, all of those no's, all of those those bumps in the road makes it all better. I just have to also say there are people I have surrounded me too who will tell me the truth.
Mm.
No, Renee, that's not good. You shouldn't do that, or you shouldn't do that. You should do this, not that. That I appreciate as well.
Renee, I want to ask you something I didn't ask you beforehand.
Okay.
We've been talking about Sule, but the other character is her name pronounced Farah or Farah?
Farah.
Farah. I want to talk about the Farahs of the world.
Okay.
Well, because I think you can't talk about Sule without talking about Farah. So when you all read the book, you'll get to know who Farah is. And Farah is kind of on this journey with Sule, right?
Right.
I love the fact that you talk about in the book, and I'm not going to spoil this, but I'll mention that you know what I'm talking about the genius of Sule.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love that you talk about that again. For one thing, him being a boy that looks like other boys that will think about their own genius. I like that, but I also like the idea that Farr didn't see it. She didn't see
Mhm.
what was happening
Yeah.
until the end. What what was that like for you to show the Farrs of the world? Because a lot of times things happen and we don't always see what the end result's going to be, right?
Yeah.
What was that like for you to have that part in the story? And again, you don't have to give it the thing away, but what was that like for you to show that a lot of times we don't always know what the ending's going to be?
You know what? And when you mention it like that, that's so interesting. I just had a thought. That's how life is.
Yeah,
That's just like life. We are on this journey, and a lot of times we fret, we're upset, and we don't know. We just don't know. But in the end, it's going to be okay.
hmm
It's going to be okay. So I think that you just brought that out. Great question, because you just that brought that out for me today, just in this very moment. That we just keep going and keep
yeah,
going, and you can't quit.
hmm
And there's somebody always guiding you, whether you know it or not. And for her, it was Sule.
yeah,
He was guiding her towards where she needed to be and the lessons she needed to learn.
yeah,
And that is just that story, that moment in there is just a microcosm of what life is.
exactly.
We're being guided to where we need to be. And there are hiccups, we're worried, we're concerned, we're discouraged, we're all of that. But at the end, there's a lesson and we will get there.
I love
And that has been my journey too, as a
mine too.
writer.
My,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people will relate to that. Again, as you all can tell, Sule, the proverb detective, is a great story for young people, but also for us young at heart as well. They can need the reminders that are there. Renee, we're going to bring Yona back in a bit, but I want to ask one more question because
Okay.
I honestly don't know the answer to this, so I'm asking for myself, but also for
Okay.
the audience. As I was reading the book, and even in having this conversation with you, I was curious what came first? You talked about Sule, of course, being brought to life first, and then, of course, now there's the book.
Hmm.
Did you have this lesson in mind before you created Sule, or did you create the lesson around Sule?
Let me see. I think, well, let me go. I want to go back to Sule, the
Sure.
original, then I'll
Yeah.
come here.
hmm
So Sule came about because, as Yona mentioned, I used to teach, and I was teaching high school at Frederick Douglass High School in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, wow.
And I was teaching Chinua Achebe's novel, Things Fall Apart. And it's full of proverbs. And at first, the students were like, Proverbs? Hmm. But then after a second, they were just knocking them down left and right, getting the meaning of them. And I remember one of my students said, Oh, Miss Rawls, we're proverb slayers. Fast forward a few years, and I was walking around the track, and this little boy, Sule, popped into my head solely as a proverb detective. And so, with this particular, and I just had to tell that backstory. So, he
Yeah.
came, and I knew that I wanted to explain Proverbs using this detective.
Gotcha.
And this particular book came about. Um, I had the proverb first.
Okay.
That's what it was. I had the proverb first, and then the story unfolded. And for people who are writers, I have to say this. I can't tell you how many drafts of this book I had before I got to this.
Mm.
Eh, Probably 10, 20, 30. And I will
Wow.
be honest, the first draft was not good. Just candid, not good. But I kept writing. I kept writing. I did not quit. I got some people to come on board. Yes, no, maybe so. This, and now this is the final version. So it's not something that happened overnight.
Yeah.
I just want to be very clear about that. It took time and it took a lot of drafts, but I'm very pleased and very proud of the final product.
Well, wow. Well, we're pleased with it too. Again, everyone, Rene Rawls is our guest. You all see the book there, Sule, the Proverb Detective. Going to bring in our friend Yona here again. Yona, great conversation there with Rene. Is there anything you would like to also ask her or to bring out?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Yeah. Is there anything you would like to ask her or to bring out?
Well, you know what? Well, I think after that whole wonderful explanation about how the book came about, what's next? Is there a what's the next project? Is this a series? What else can we when can we look for from you?
Love
All
that.
right. I'll put it all out there. Okay.
Yes.
So currently, I am actually working on the companion activity and coloring book for
Mm.
this
Mm,
particular book. So
wonderful.
I wish I had it with me. I'd show you all the drafts of the book I've had so far, but that's coming up next.
Hmm.
And I have already spoken to the illustrator about book two.
Love it.
So we're in the process of, I'm at the process of, thinking about that and making that happen. Um,
Hmm.
Number three, I do have the pilot episode of Sule the podcast. So that, yeah, that is something I want to get going next. And yeah, that's it for now. I think
I
that's
am
it for now.
so intrigued about the podcast. Well, I actually have two
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
Let me ask first about the second book. So, what is have you already identified the proverb that you want to explain to children in book two?
Yes, as of now, and it may change, but as of now, the proverb is, "He who cannot dance will say the drum is bad."
Mm.
And I am a person, I had to learn this lesson myself, but I'm pretty big on taking personal responsibility because there's
Mm-hmm.
power in that.
Yeah.
And don't ever let anyone take your power. It's hard. I get it. Again,
Mm-hmm.
I always have to tell people, I'm not saying, oh, it's easy. No, but you have to be mindful and you have to fight for that. So, he who cannot dance will say the drum is bad. And it speaks to taking personal responsibility for your actions.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Mm.
So
I
we'll see
love
how that
that.
happens.
I
Yeah.
love that because what I like about the stories and where you're going with them is that it speaks to character building
Yeah.
for children because a lot of times things are not taught directly to them, but they can actually see it through a story, through having an experience with a child that looks like them,
Hmm.
where it clicks with them, which is one of the reasons why I was, really so excited about working with you, on this. I think the companion material are wonderful because that also opens the door for teachers to actually use this as as a teaching tool in curriculums, so I think that's great. So tell us a little bit about the coloring book because it's like I feel like coloring books kind of were in style when we were kids and they kind of went out of style, then they kind of came back with adults. So how is your coloring book going to be different and unique in terms of Sule?
Yes. So this one, coloring slash activity book will have images specifically from the book will
Mm-hmm.
be incorporated in this particular project, and it leans towards being a detective. So there will be activities that will speak to some of the skills you need to be
Mm.
a detective. So you have to observe, you may have to interview people, and so activities will be in there like that. So coloring, of course, word searches, a little bit of math, and things like that, but definitely images taken straight from the
Nice.
book that the kids will get a chance to color.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. So hopefully it'll be out sooner than later. Next couple of weeks, probably.
Take
Oh,
your time. Take your time. That's one thing we've
Yeah.
learned as writers and people, especially when you're writing for, younger children, take your time. And like you said, you did several iterations of the book before
Several.
you came to this one. So, enjoy the process, because
Yes.
it's important.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hmm.
I love that. Enjoy the process. I think that's a great message for this show today too, because
Yes.
even as we're taking the journey along with Sule and Farah in the book, I think the reader can kind of enjoy that about themselves too. That lesson that comes away. Again, everyone, Rene Rawls has been our guest. Sule, the Proverb Detective is the book. You all see it there. Have it highlighted there on Amazon. Make sure you guys go ahead and get your copy. I'll be adding my review this weekend. Renee,
Mhm.
invite anyone else who's already read the book. Make sure you guys write your review as well. Renee, how can they stay connected with you?
I am on Instagram at RN Rawls, um, and also on Twitter at Sule Series.
Okay.
So those two pretty much, yeah, I can reach out to me via those social media outlets. Yeah.
Oh,
Awesome.
and I would be remiss if I did not also say that if anybody's interested, if you are a teacher, an educator, daycare center, or anybody who deals with children who would like to have Renee virtually meet your children and read Sule and kind of read to them and have them engage in the activities and all that yummy stuff that we love, please contact me directly through Yona at riverchildmediallc.com. Yona, Yona, at riverchildmediallc.com.
Love that. Yona, I was going to ask you how they can stay connected with you as well. Any social you want to mention as well, Yona? Any social media?
Sure. River Child Media on Instagram and just Yona Riverchild on Facebook.
Awesome. Oh, again, a great conversation. Thanks to the two of you for dropping by the program today and looking forward to having you back again.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so
Cyrus.
much.
More than welcome. And we thank you, all of you, for tuning in to another great episode of Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. Today's show is powered by Bite Cool. You all see it here. It's what helped me to make today's show possible. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it there in the carousel on Amazon. They have it on sale today. This is the Windows 10 Pro that I have. It's on sale for $259. You all can get it there on Amazon. A great way to be able to stream. You guys are doing a lot of Zoom right now. Hey, Tamika, I see you over there on the Facebook side. Appreciate you for watching today's program as well. Thanks to all of you that have been tuning in on LinkedIn. We appreciate you guys on Facebook, on YouTube. Appreciate you as well. D. Hamilton, thank you over there on the Amazon Live Sets. An excellent show. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.